Hiya folks, how's it going? My name is Lexi and I really love tabletop role-playing games. So much so that I sit down and make a review of one once a week every week. We do that here at the gaming table. I try to keep these videos short, between 5 to 10 minutes, so we can both find our next game quickly. If you like the sound of that, you should subscribe and keep watching today's video. If you want to do something extra special for the channel, there is a link to my Ko-Fi page in the description box where you can make a donation to the channel. All donations go straight back into the running costs of the channel, and it is really so appreciated. I put a little thank you at the end of my videos to acknowledge everyone who's donated in the previous month. Of course, please don't feel obliged to donate. You don't have to. I just appreciate having everyone with me discussing tabletop role-playing games. Today, I am reviewing a game from the Ravens Ridge Emporium. I picked up a couple of their games at a local event a few weeks ago, so I'm really enjoying going through them and making these little reviews bit by bit. Today, we are taking a look at Cartograph, the Atlas Edition by Brandon Lee. This is a solo journaling game where you play as an explorer going through an unknown and fantastical land. You sort of discover the landscape as you play, so it's really fascinating. You don't really get to know the background of the world until you explore it. You discover these details about the world through card prompts. You use a deck of cards, and when you draw a card, that will tell you a corresponding prompt, which will give you some more details about the scene. These scene prompts tend to be leaning towards the fantastical side. Those fantastical elements allow you to flavor them a little bit. If you want to, though, the game manual provides you actually the option to hack Cartograph to give it a different backdrop and have what words to swap out. There's also a couple of different tabletop role-playing games that actually pair well with Cartograph that are mentioned in the game manual that you might want to use to sort of extend your play. To play a game of Cartograph, you need a pack of playing cards, something to draw your map, some journaling supplies, and some dice. Mostly D6s and D12s, as well as a D20. Once you've gathered all your materials, you need to build your cartographer, your explorer. There's several different archetypes that you can choose from, but the game actually gives you a bunch of tables to roll on. I suppose if you wanted to, you could choose the most appealing items from the table, but I kind of like rolling for these things. It gives it a bit of spontaneity and randomness and might take the story in a direction you didn't expect in the first place. The character creation process not only tells you what your character is like, but it might give them some special mechanical benefits in particular scenarios. This game is played in 3 phases. There's the exploration phase where you fill out the map. There's the journaling phase where you record what you encounter. And then there's the exploration phase where you fill out the map, the arrival phase where your character travels from one place to another. When you arrive at one of these new locations, you draw one of the cards, and this is what you then will journal about. The last phase is the rest phase, where you come across some piece of, I guess, civilization, a village, a town, where your character can potentially rest and recover resources. You cycle through this phase multiple times in the game. I think one of the fun parts of the game is the exploration phase, because to create the map, you actually roll the dice and sort of pour them onto the map itself, and then you use that to trace out what the landscape is going to look like. A game of Cartograph ends when a character has filled out all their wound slots, if a character has used up all of their dice, or if you happen to draw too many jokers. This can mean that a character has not had a pleasant end to their journey and they've had to head for the hills. Or the character, if they have explored a certain number of coastlines, seen certain sights, gets to retire happily, having enjoyed a thorough exploration. As I mentioned in the setting portion of this video, there are some ways you can hack Cartograph as a game. There's actually an option to make it a multiplayer experience, to change its sort of peaceful mode, it's called, so there's less danger for your character to encounter, and potentially other ways you can change out the genre. There's plenty of ways to actually change your experience of playing Cartograph, which I found really fun. I really love that this solo game is a complete game experience. It isn't a side piece to another game, it's a really fully contained story. Of course, you can use it as a part of maybe creating a setting for a game or as a side piece for another game you're playing. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I think it works for both. So I also love that this game uses the map making experience to tie in with the journaling and resource management. Exploration and resource management, I think, are really cool elements of tabletop role-playing games, and then aren't always, in my opinion, explored to their fullest potential. So it's great to see a solo game really explore that. I think any landscape created in a game of Cartograph would be really fun to explore further. So I think it could be a great exercise for a gamer. If you've ever wanted to be an explorer filling out unknown portions of the map, then I think you're going to have an amazing time with Cartograph. I guess for myself, I would say the game pleasantly reminds me of geography lessons. I was always rubbish at colouring in maps and labelling things, but this game made it really fun. A physical copy of this game retails for just around $37 US on the Ravens Ridge Emporium website. I'll put a link to that website in the description box below. I think it can be hard to convince people to try solo games, but I think if you love world building, then this is going to be a great game to pick up. Well, what did you think? Are you an exploration first kind of tabletop role-playing game player? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. While you're there, I encourage you to like this video and perhaps even share it with a friend who might find it interesting. If you want to keep up with the channel, you can subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube is supposed to tell you when I've next uploaded. If you would like to really help out the channel, there is a link to my Ko-Fi page where you can make a donation to the channel. All of those donations go straight back into the running costs of the channel, so it is really deeply appreciated. I put a short thank you at the end of each of my videos to acknowledge everyone who's made a donation. Of course, please don't feel obliged to make a donation, I just appreciate having one. In that short thank you, I like to mention everyone who has made a donation, so if you do decide to, please let me know how I can mention you, what moniker you prefer. Please don't feel like you have to make a donation. I just appreciate having everyone here discussing games with me. I want to thank you all again for watching and discussing Cartograph with me. I hope you're all well, and I look forward to seeing you next time at the gaming table. Bye!